Have you ever seen someone at work get a promotion and just thought to yourself, wait, them? Seriously? It's a feeling we've all had, right? You see a decision that makes absolutely no sense and it just feels unfair. Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain and look at the hidden logic behind why that happens so often.
Let's just start with this bombshell of an idea. What if the whole promotion game isn't actually about finding the most brilliant, top-tier candidate? What if instead it's all about one thing, the manager's deep-seated instinct to protect their own career?
When we see one of these baffling promotions, our brains immediately jump to the usual suspects. We think, oh, it's just favoritism, or typical office politics, or maybe even my boss has no idea what they're doing. And look, those things might be part of the story, but they're usually just symptoms of a much bigger, more fundamental problem. So, that brings us to our first major point. Let's talk about why we are hardwired to see these situations as a people problem, a failure of individuals.
I mean, these are the stories we tell ourselves, right? The boss has their pets, it's a networking game, the truly talented people are always overlooked. It's so much easier to blame a bad boss or a political player than it is to see the invisible system that's pushing them to make these choices.
And this really gets at a fundamental human bias. We see a person, a manager, make a decision. So naturally, we assume any problem with that decision must be a problem with that person. We pin a systemic issue on someone's individual character, when the truth is, the individual might not be the real problem at all. Okay, so if it's not always about bad managers, what is really going on? Let's dig into the system itself and uncover what its actual goal is, because, spoiler alert, it's not what you think. And here it is. This is the absolute core of it. From the manager's perspective, the promotion process is not a tool to find a rock star who will shoot the lights out. No, it's a tool to avoid hiring a disaster who might blow up in their face. The goal isn't to pick a big winner, it's to avoid picking a big loser. So you got these two competing logics. On the one hand, you have the ideal version, promoting for upside. You're betting on someone with massive potential. They could be a superstar, or they could totally flame out. On the other hand, you have the reality, promoting for safety. The goal here is just to minimize your personal risk. You pick the reliable, predictable person. The outcome, well, it's never going to be a catastrophe. It's a choice between betting on success and buying an insurance policy against failure. Look at it from the manager's point of view. That high potential candidate? Sure, the rewards could be huge for the company, but for the manager making the call, they represent a huge personal risk. If they crash and burn, it makes the manager look bad, but the reliable performer? That's a safe bet. Low risk, manageable, predictable, no surprises. Think about it. A manager takes a big swing on a risky candidate, and it turns into a disaster. That can seriously damage their reputation, maybe even their career. But if they promote someone who's just fine, adequate but unremarkable, nobody ever gets in trouble for that. The safe choice is always the path of least resistance. And here's the kicker. This kind of risk-averse thinking isn't just a one-off decision. It actually feeds on itself, creating this powerful, self-perpetuating cycle that gets baked right into the company's culture. So here's how this vicious cycle works. Step 1, a manager makes a safe choice. They pick the reliable person over the high-potential one. Step 2, the result is totally predictable. No big wins, but more importantly, no big disasters. Step 3, because nothing blew up, the organization sees this as a successful decision. And finally, step 4, other managers are watching. They see what happened, and they learn that playing it safe is what gets rewarded. And so the pattern repeats. When you boil it all down, you get this simple, powerful truth. The organizational immune system is set up to punish visible, noticeable failures far more than it rewards bold, risky successes. The penalty for being wrong is just so much greater than the prize for being right. So this raises a huge question, right? If this is such a clear problem, why is it so incredibly hard to fix? Why does the system fight back against any attempt to change it? Well, look at our typical solutions. We think, let's use more data. But what happens? Managers just use that data to build a case for the safe choice they already wanted to make. We say, let's do more management training. But training doesn't change the fact that a manager is still trying to protect their own job. We roll out fancy new review processes, but people just figure out how to game the new system. The core incentive to avoid personal risk never actually changes. And this is the fundamental mismatch. We keep trying to fix the people with more training, more data, more rules, when the problem isn't the people. It's the system. The system is working perfectly. It's just optimized for a goal we don't want to admit out loud. So the next time you feel that sting of unfairness after a promotion announcement, remember this. It's probably not a sign that the people are broken or that the process failed. It's a sign that the system is doing exactly what it was designed to do: protect itself and the people who run it. And that leaves us with one last, pretty uncomfortable question to think about. We all talk a big game about innovation, about rewarding excellence, about meritocracy. But if the systems we build are secretly designed to choose stability over excellence every single time, what does that really say about what our organizations truly value?